In 1988, a 61-year-old man named Bielek sat down in his living room to watch a movie. The film was a sci-fi thriller playing on a late-night broadcast centered on a secret naval experiment. As the movie played, Bielek was hit by a disorienting rush of images. He felt the cold shock of seawater and saw massive, glowing coils discharging electricity inside a dark steel hull. He recognized the specific technical procedures and equipment shown on the screen. He realized he wasn't looking at a Hollywood set, he was witnessing events he had personally experienced decades earlier. This experience with a piece of pop culture acted as a catalyst, destabilizing what Bielek claims was a systematic, decades-long suppression of his entire memory. Bielek's central claim was impossible. He stated that his current identity was a fabrication and that he was not the man his birth records suggested. He identified his true self as Ed Cameron, a Harvard-educated physicist born in 1916. According to his recovered memories, he had been recruited by the Navy for a project that would alter the course of human history. To understand the life of Ed Cameron, we have to look at his accounts of a black project that reportedly ended in a physical and temporal catastrophe. In 1943, the Allied war effort was under constant threat from German U-boats. These submarines were effectively strangling the supply lines across the Atlantic, sinking cargo ships before they could reach their destination. The Navy tasked a team of elite scientists to solve the submarine problem, led by mathematician John von Neumann and the legendary inventor Nikola Tesla. Together, they developed Project Rainbow. The goal was to create a radar cloaking system that could be installed directly onto a ship's hull, making it invisible to enemy detection. The engineering behind this was a concept called the electromagnetic bottle. The Navy intended to generate massive magnetic fields that would divert radar waves around the vessel, preventing them from bouncing back to the source. Desperate wartime necessity resulted in a technology that interacted with physics in ways the Navy scientists had not initially calculated. On August 12, 1943, the Navy switched on the massive generators aboard the test vessel, the USS Eldridge. The ship disappeared from radar, and then, according to witnesses, the physical hull became transparent before vanishing from the harbor entirely. It had been removed from our space-time continuum. When the generators were deactivated, the crew was found in a state of total disorientation. Some sailors had been physically fused into the steel bulkheads, their bodies merged with the structure of the ship itself. This was the physical result of ripping a multi-ton material object out of our dimension and forcefully attempting to return it. Ed Cameron and his brother Duncan were on board that day. Fearing the ship was about to explode, they jumped over the railing to escape. They didn't hit the water. They fell into a hyperspace wormhole created by the massive energy discharge. The brothers reportedly arrived in 2137, placed in a hospital and treated for severe radiation burns caused by their transit through the tear in reality. Ed Cameron was eventually separated from his brother and pulled forward to the year 2749. He claims he spent 2 years in a future society where floating cities were managed by an autonomous computer network. Their journey through time was not finished. The brothers were eventually grabbed by an unseen force and snapped backward through the centuries, landing in 1983. They found themselves at the massive radar installation at Montauk Point. This was the home of the Montauk Project, a continuation of the 1943 experiment, funded by clandestine sources. The 1943 disaster had created a temporal bridge, one the government had spent the last 40 years learning how to control and weaponize. The researchers at Montauk realized they had to close the temporal loop. They ordered Ed Cameron to go back to 1943 to destroy equipment on the USS Eldridge and force it to return to its original time. He succeeded, but his return created a logistical nightmare. Cameron was back in the 1940s, possessing detailed memories of advanced technology and future geopolitical events. The Navy required his removal, but standard elimination was deemed too risky for the stability of the timeline they were now trying to manage. According to Bielek, the solution was an alien age regression process. Ed Cameron's consciousness was extracted and implanted into an infant's body. The cover-up was executed by replacing Cameron's adult identity with a new, oblivious existence. He was placed into the Bielek family in 1927, living a life he was never meant to have. For decades, he lived as Al Bielek, a man with no knowledge of physicist Ed Cameron or the ship that disappeared in 1943. All of that remained hidden until the movie broadcast in 1988. Skeptics point to the lack of hard evidence and the shifting technical details in Bielek's story as proof that his accounts are a complex fabrication. Despite the lack of physical proof, Bielek's testimony became the foundation for modern conspiracy theories regarding government mind control and hidden time travel technology. Whether his story is a hoax or a suppressed truth, it highlights the terrifying possibility that our memories may not be as secure as we believe.